Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So, where are we and what are we up to? Let's see. Let's go over to the dollar. You see, let me lower that volume over there too. There we go. And let's take a look at the dollar index. You can see it there on J4X. You can see, and Janos is back in the house. I see. That's cool. You have a good new skill set, right? Digging ditches. When we go back to the Stone Age, you can, get into that. All right. Let's see. So let's get over to the dollar index and take a look and see what's going on. There it is right there. The dollar index has been lifting. It's a little bit stronger than we're expecting. We thought maybe it could get a challenge this right here. We're still in that weekly sell. Over on J4X, you can see that same. Let's see, live trading. Oh, good. Me dismissed. There we are. You can see the 4 days in a buy. See it over here the same way. It's been in a buy for going on a fifth day here. You can see this is starting to move up pretty high, 77s as we speak. It's a. So we're basically wondering, what's going to happen next in the sense of. Will it go into the 80s or 90s? Will it bang against the ceiling, I guess you could say? We'll see as it slowly. Host sign in. Do I have to do that? No. So, what else can we say about any of this at this point more than the fact that, the dollar. Look, they're gonna. The concern is, hey, Robin. And Mountain, good morning to you. The dollar is going to be, the interest rates are going to be risen on Wednesday, I believe. That's what it is. So I'm sure they're doing something to anticipate that. Apparently, we have an incredible opportunity to buy the dollar pair, Swiss pairs trade. Both daily and weekly are in a buy stochastic. Okay, let's take a look at that. Because I think we're in a daily. When you say buy the Swiss dollar, so you're betting against the Swiss and buying the dollar, right? That's what you're saying, right? Let's go check it out. Check it out. What it is what it is. Right there. We're in a daily buy for 3 days, but we're in a weekly sell. So I'm not too interested in that. Definitely not. Definitely not. I think you want to be careful with that particular pairs trade until we get into a weekly buy, and that means you are betting against the Swiss, and I'm not really too sure how much the it may be at the bottom end of its range, if anything else. It literally might be that. That's what may be going on here. Okay, so the conference hasn't started yet. We're chasing a conference right now. We're trying to get into the conference. Let's see. Schedule. Let's see what the schedule shows. It's string week. Okay, enable. Let's see what else. Recurring meeting. Let's see, what else? I'm trying to see why I'm not seeing. Okay, save. There we are. Let's see if we get into it now. There we are. All right, so, yes. Starts in 25 minutes now. Okay, that's good. 9 o'clock is just as good. It is string week, traders. So Doc is, caballing with the top physicists in the world doing our string thing. String thing. That string thing I do. Okay, so Mountain don't. I was referring to the fast and slow stochastic levels. Oh, yes. Well, yeah. Yeah, but let's take a look at the weekly. Where's it at? Right here. Check out the weekly on it. There's the weekly. Oh, look at that. Weekly is trying to bounce up. We're getting that plus. We're seeing ours move the fast. That's why it's blue now. Because that's what you're really looking at is the blue line here. And the blue line here. They both seem to match up pretty well. It's way from the zero line now. Look how far away. Let's put the zero line in there again. Let's make it fat or something like that. There's the zero line. So we can, or we'll make it like red or something like that. See that? Can you see that red line? Yeah, you can see it. Okay. Let's see, where's it at? Right there. Okay. And see, it's way down below the manifold. Now over here, it's lifting up and it's trying to get through the zero line, but it's not green. It's got to be green here. It's trying to generate another red for the week. So I would not think about getting long. I wouldn't be short. That's for sure. For the last 3 days, the math is saying don't be short. That's for sure. So in other words, if you were short from here, right there, it's basically saying be flat at this point. That's what it's saying. And I would say that that's what this is saying here on J4X the same way. It's telling you to be flat. Does that make sense to you, Mountain? We'll give you a chance to get back to your train of thought. Train of thought. We're waiting. We're waiting. We're waiting. Okay, there. No, there's somebody else. Hello, Andreas. Cool. Hello to everyone too. Hello to you. So yes, I wouldn't jump on that right now. Where do we go from here? Oh, there's Mountain. Okay, Mountain says the weekly says 17 for the last, 13 for slow. Well, there's no doubt that it's bouncing, yes. You see that? The daily's confirming that very clearly here. And it's also doing it right here. Bing, bang. See, it's doing the same thing. It's showing that, is that? No, that's the dollar index. So let's go over to the Swissy. Swissy, right there. Yeah, so, last 3 days it's been lifting up nicely on the daily, yes. I agree. But, we're sitting there. It's not exactly doing anything that would excite you. Look, the reason probably why the weekly in this, the daily in this case here, this is the reason why the overall strength is on the downside still. This is a dead cat bounce. So, let's see. Andrea says, "Thank you. I've just joined to the webinar." Well, that's cool. Yeah, we do all kinds of fun things here. We're just kind of out there yakking about the markets. We consider this a trading pit. We think of ourselves as an electronic trading pit. So welcome to the electronic trading pit, or the cyber pit, as I like to call it. And we talk like as if we're on the trading floor. So all kinds of stupid ideas can come right through your head. Or, all kinds of stupid ideas can come through my head. That's what I'm trying to say. And so you never know what you're going to hear. We'll be talking about the markets. We'll be talking about interest rates, inflation, volatility, the weather, what's crazy in the news, how the Federal Reserve Chairman has lost his mind. We could go anywhere in this conversation. So welcome to the cyber trading pit. Let's see, and now the price test it. Let's see. May we check the euro? Oh yes, most definitely. Let's check out the euro. That's where we usually go too. We go from the dollar index to the euro, and here's the the euro dollar pairs trade right there. This is J4X. This is the Dukascopy's platform. Over here on the right is our platform from our timing service, Chicago Quant Technologies. And what we do is we incorporate, this is a public indicator, the J4X, you can get that for free. And we combine to get together Hinky ASCII bars. Underneath it, you can see, can I do that? No, that didn't do it. Let's try this for a second. And then underneath it, we turn off the Hinkies at times, like right there. You see the regular bars. And the Hinkies relate to are dots on our product here, the dots. They have about a 68% correlation, which is pretty good because all our work on Chicago Quant is proprietary and developed by us over the last 5 decades, so over almost 50 years now. And so underneath, you're looking at here is the blue line is the fast stochastic, and what it does is it challenges the slow, which is the dashed line stochastic, every trade. Or every tick, I guess you could say. And then what we do is we look at these two, and when it's underneath, it's bearish, and notice it starts to roll over here. And then when you see when it climbs above it, the green line, and let's make it bigger for you. When the green, the blue line climbs above it, you start to bottom, and you end up going into a buy. And so depending on how you trade, if you're using option derivatives or binaries, or the spot contract for intraday trading, or even longer term trading, or whatever way, what vehicle you use to trade, we were able to convey what's the most logical, most successful way of choosing the right direction of it. So unless you're a volatility trader, then you're just trading the volatility itself. Okay, how's that? So that is there. There's the euro, and what it's telling you about the euro right now is that the euro is weak on a daily basis. You can see that the line dropped underneath. And so you got that pressure on the product, and what has it done? It has gone down in value because of that, or vice versa. It goes down in value because this thing rolls over, or vice versa. It's going down, and this picks it up and reads it. Over here on Chicago Quant, here is the same product right there. And you can see we put a line in there for the daily. This is the daily right here. And this is the bars, and there's the dots and all that other stuff we were talking about. And you can see we've been in the daily sell for 5 days now, and the pressure's on. You can see over here on J4X, this one in particular has been in the sell now on 3 days. And so sometimes it's 4, sometimes it can be 5. It flashes back and forth, but this is the key. This is the proof right here of how successful this is compared to using, say, a MACD or a moving average or a RSI or using parabolics. These are the best combinations of free financial tools you can use to match up to one of the best tools right over here. And so that's why we keep both of them on the screen. You get a good idea of where things are going. We get an idea, you at the same time you have the J4X platform to be able to observe and learn. Let's see. So euro. Okay, if I identify well, there is an order block on H1 hourly. Okay, you're looking at an hourly. So let's take a look at the hourly. You're looking at it on J4X, right? So let's see what it looks like on an hourly. Right there. Yeah. So it's okay. So it popped and went into a buy for a period of time there, and then lifted. And then it's now trying. It's still in the buy because this is above the line. Problem is that we need that to be green again, the bar there, and you won't see that for another 16 minutes. We're not a big fan of hourly charts, but let's do this. Let's go over 2 and put an hourly chart up in our math at the same time. So where is that? Let's see this. That used to be the hourly chart. Let's see if it is. Right there. Let's go and make that the hourly. Let's do this. Let's minimize that. No, let's make. You know what? Let's make a copy of that and put an hourly chart of the euro up there for you. Let's see. Copy window. Paste window. There we go. And let's make that, let's see right here. So let's make that an hourly chart. No, that's not it. Let's change. Okay, let's change the product. Let's do this first. Let's make this, where's it at? Settings, hourly. 1. Let's go back I don't know, 9 days or something like that, and let's change the product now to cash. EU. There we are. There we go. Yeah, it's not going to have a volume ratio on this, so it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to cancel that out. Yes. There we are. All right, so there it is. You can see our work. We're just trying to climb into a buy now on our hourly. Went into the sell here, and then let's see, we got a volatility signal when you have a green and a red dot on a bar. It tells us that we're going to get a little action, and it did. It lifted up, but problem is that this is not moving up through the zero line, except for this one right there is trying. So in what's it at 12 and a half minutes, we'll see if this closes in a buy, and maybe it will move up. Maybe that's what it'll be. A lot of times we get into buys when something's going down, which is really cool. So we catch a falling knife with no problem. If I identify well, there is an order block. Okay, and now the price test it. Yes, exactly. I guess we'll see that last one. And now the price test it. Okay, yes. I guess you're saying the hourly is testing it. I see what you're saying there. I think that's what you're saying. And so we can go back and look a little bit historically how the math has worked. Went into a sell here, and then you can see it fell for hours upon hours. We went into a buy right here, and it was in a buy for hours upon hours, all the way up to right here. There was your next sell, and went down to, did it get in there? I don't think it did. It's a minus still. They're all zeros. So that didn't get into a buy, and the next one stayed in it. So the sell went to this point right there, went into a buy here, and stayed in the buy until, what's that? You can't because they're both color. That's where it goes. It goes into the sell there, and stays in the sell until right here. It went into the buy here, and then it moved up, and then it had that collapse back, what's that, 5 hours ago, when Europe got rolling along again. And you can see over here, when we look at it on a more longer term basis of a daily and a weekly, we're in the weekly buy and in a daily sell. So we've been in the weekly buy since back here, and so you only take the buys, but you don't take the sells. So in other words, up here, you would, after taking this buy, you would be flat because of the sell here, and then just wait until it gets into another buy again. How's that sound? Price test. Okay, by the way, is there any indicator in J4X platform which can show us the order blocks? Don't know. Because, remember, there's no real volume. I guess there is volume in currencies, but I would imagine an order block, is that got volume in part of it? I'll let you answer that. Oh, let me read the next one. Or, let's see. Or can the platform show the limit stop orders what other traders place? No, I don't look at. You'd have to ask like a Janos or someone like that from Dukascopy about that. I just go with the basics. I don't trust those data points. They're good, but the problem is you're not seeing the option volume or the binary volume, and so. Just because someone's buying or bidding or someone's offering and showing size is not, that's like pre-1976 type of concepts. That's not always the best, because that's why there's dark pools and so forth. In other words, they don't really hand out a lot. Open interest can be interesting. That's one of the only ones that I have any trust in. Robin's good at that. He'll talk to you about open interest. But I don't really pay attention to the others. I always believe, and this is the reason why. I'm going to have a sip of my tea here. Another sip, hold on. This is the reason why. Price seems to always precede news. Okay? It's very rare that price doesn't precede. In other words, it's ahead of the news. The head of the averages on a normal thing. Our math is the closest thing it's going to be on time or ahead of time. This thing we have on J4X shows us ahead of time a lot. Okay, two stochastics working against each other is a very insightful tool. The Hinky Ashkeys help to confirm, general direction, that type of thing, like that two spin in atomic theory, that type of thing. So that's where we're at. Does that make sense? Let's see. We'll see if you give that answer. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'd like to hear the answer back. I love hearing that. But if you don't feel like, saying anything, it's okay. Just the fact that you asked for a product is a winner-winner. We always say, cheaper by the dozen around here. In other words, you're welcome to ask 11 more. They're all the same price. They're free. All right, so there's the euro. We go from the dollar index to the euro. You see, it's been breaking down. The dollar has been showing that strength, but at the same time, the weekly is not exactly falling apart, which is kind of interesting. Again, we are in the summer doldrums. For another 2 weeks, it's going to be sloppy. We have the Fed raising rates more than likely in the next 48 hours, going into Wednesday. They'll probably, it's a little bit more than 48 hours from now because it'll probably be at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and it's basically almost 9 o'clock Eastern Standard. So that's what, 4 hours. So it's 40, instead of 48 hours, it's 52 hours from now. The interest rate will probably be pushed up. All right, from there we go over to cable. But if you want to see something, just put it up on the chat line. We'll go right to it, just like we just went to Swiss when we normally don't look at the Swiss until after we look at cable. But I'm always willing to look at anything. You want to see gold, I'll put gold. You want to see, euro against the yen, we'll put it up there. Whatever you're interested in seeing, we'll put it up on the screen and look at it. It's a perfect proof to show the success of the math. That we're not prepared, and in other words, we're not preparing. The math does the job so well that you could come up with the newest pairs trade that's ever been out there, and we'll sick the math on it, and you'll see months back of success, and it'll just show you that's how good the math is. All right, from there we got the cable up on Chicago Quant. You can see this. What's that? 5 days in a sell. Tried to go after the weekly sell last week, but it doesn't seem to be breaking through at the moment. The fast that's the bluish line dashed, and that matches up normally to the blue line over on J4X. Avalanche. It's the mouse. Let's move that out of the way. I got too many mice running around today. Let's put that mouse over there. All right, let's put it up on J4X now. And there's the cable. Right there, and let's get the daily back in there again like so. And we are going to be seeing that hourly in about 5 or 6 minutes make the change. And it does look like, in our work, it looks like it wants to go into a buy too. Let's see, what's in the meeting? 5 minutes meeting. Good start. Excellent. Let's see, start new meeting. You will have to leave this meeting to start that one. Okay, so that's fine. There we are. So, all right. There we are.
Market data connection lost.
Place chats. Let's see. New one place for
market
chats.
data
Okay.
connection reestablished.
Where are we at this point? So from there on the cable, let's put the Hinky, the Hinky Ashke bars back on. Where'd they go? Now that's odd. Where are you, Hinky Ashke bars? Indicators, drawings. So let's do this. Let's make this bigger. Hey, Giannis, if you're listening, we actually had them working in a separate. Let's see if I can find it. File. Where is it at? I had them working. I had 4 different spots. It was really great. I saved it, but no, I saved the Manhattan, but it seems to have run away on me. When we get a chance to take a look in the file. Recent indicators. Hinky Ashkies. There we go. And there's the Hinky Ashkies, and you see that red for 4 days, pressuring it down. You see the line underneath. Same game over here on the daily. Wait a minute. What is this? Am I in the wrong thing here? Oh, yes. That is dollar index. So let's put, there it is, cable. There's cable. And you can see that. 5 days in a downswing here. And you can see the weekly is making its bounce. Let's see what else we got here. All right. From there, now we go over to the Swiss. Let's take a look at the Swiss now. And you can see there again, as we pointed out on that hourly or whatever. I think it was the hourly one we were looking at, wasn't it? No, we're looking at the euro hourly. You can see here, again, we're in a buy, but it's not going anywhere. Makes a little high, breaks the other highs, but nothing major. And we're in that weekly sell now from up in here in the 91-ish area, 90 and a quarter or something like that. So, the buys have been kind of okay, but, you're not supposed to take them unless you're doing like a binary or something. The sells have been winner, winner, chicken dinners, like that. And there's a second one. It's been kind of a good distance between them all. It's kind of amazing there. Let's see if we can widen this for you a little bit more. Can we widen that a little bit more? Let's see, like so. There we are. So kind of interesting in the sense that, and when you get a green and a red, and it drops below the zero line, it still stays in the trend that it has been in, and you can see it stays in that buy, and then the next day it goes back up again. So it's just the way the nuances of the math itself. All right, traders. From there we go over to the yen. Let's see what the yen is up to this morning. There's dollar yen. See dollar yen trying to roll over a little bit. Been in a buy. It's trying to get into the weekly sell. That's interesting. It just went into the weekly buy last week, did it? I think it did. Just reconfirming the number there. Yeah. So it climbed into the daily buy, the weekly buy, and here it's rolling over into the sell again as we speak. And we'll see if this gets into a daily sell or they lift it up. And we're putting a little circle in there to remind you. And it's a pretty powerful push because it broke the bottom manifold. And that's a big thing on a Monday. So it's pretty much like in the weekly sell. So you don't really want to be long anymore, that's for sure. Just because it's below that line. If it wasn't below that line and just below the zero line, we wouldn't take it as serious. But when it drops below the manifold, that's what these are. This is the nonlinear time manifolds. That yellow and that yellow, this is the plus side of it. That's the minus side of it. They're mirror images. They're standard deviations with our math incorporated inside of it. So smoothed by standard deviations. And so that's what we're seeing there. All right, now let's check that out over on right here. Let's put it up on J4X. Right. What's it? This is yen. There it is right there. Showing the strength way up. It's up in the 80s through the ceiling is 100. So it's starting to turn here on the daily, like we're turning here on the daily. And let's check out the weekly. See how much it's getting smashed down. Smashburger. Look at that. Generating a green. Interesting. And we're generating, telling you that it's heading for the sell. It's a very high percentage. When it gets below the manifold like that, especially on Tuesday of the week. Monday can be a little dicey, but overall that's a scream. It's like a 99 percentile. So you don't You don't want to challenge it. Let's put it that way. If anything, we always say we're here to make money, not trade. So you don't just jump into something and get long or shorter. The idea is to do it with the most odds in your favor. No, I'm going to the T again. All right. All right, now from the dollar euro, lately we've been looking at the cable euro. I'm sorry, dollar yen. Lately we've been looking at the euro yen, and we've been looking at the British pound yen, just to watch to see how the three majors treat the yen. So in this case here, the dollar is losing against the yen at the moment. Let's see what the euro's doing. Excuse me. This is the strongest of the three at the moment, right there. You can see it's, oh, look at that. They're going after the weekly now and the daily. So it's joining in. We're getting a volatility signal at the same time. So we're seeing some real noise starting to develop here. What else can we say about any of this? I could have sworn my throat is tickling me a little bit, so let me just put something in there. There we go. Yeah, so that is that. Now I think it was cable last week showed even more, weakness. Right there. Missed going into the weekly sell, and that's interesting. It's in the buy. So it went into the buy on Friday. So that's the cable gaining against. The cable is gaining against the yen, but not today, but it's still in the buy. It's still a little green line from there. We'll put it in right there. Maybe we'll fix that one too. Let's steal that one and put it into there. There we go. So you can see it went into the buy on Friday, and it's playing with the weekly sell today. So that would actually be a loss. So we lose we win 8.5 out of 10 times we win. So there's your 1.5 right there. Now from the cables and the yens and not the yens, the euros and the dollars, we see that the yen is gaining against all the currencies at the moment. So there's some strength there in there, but at the same time, it's confirming it even more right here. The weekly is trying to get into the weekly sell. It's not touching the manifold, but it's showing the weakness, so you don't want to be long at this point. It's you want to be flat. And when I go back to the euro yen doing the same thing. So it's acting like as if the yen might kick it up. Now it's kind of in the middle of the the summer doldrums. So I wouldn't get too excited about any of this stuff over the next week and a half to 2 weeks. Or 2.5 weeks, something like that. These starting last week and going into the second week of August, markets can be really, really sloppy. In other words, they're not usually defining a long-term trend. They're defining a sloppy, no directional trend. All right, from there, since there's no questions, we'll go to the euro Turkish lira. Kind of flat and quiet, isn't it? 3 days in a sell, something like 20 some odd weeks in a buy. It's been in a weekly buy now since late March. Product's gone from 20 to 31 and change. 31.57. So that is a 50% move. Since we've been in the weekly buy, this product has gone up 50%. All right. From there, we go over to what we consider the largest brick in the world, and that is the Mexican peso against the dollar. It's the top brick currency. You can see it's in a daily buy now for 3 days. It's still flirting with the weekly sell. It tried to climb on Friday and giving up again, so maybe we'll just bounce around underneath here. King Peso here, as we like to call it, or the top brick. They want to join the brick, and if by them joining the brick makes them the most powerful brick in the world. And then behind it is the second most powerful brick, and that is the South African Rand, where BRICS are having their conference right now as we speak. Let's see. I think it's this week, the BRIC conference down in South Africa. Mr. Putin has decided not to get arrested, and so he is going to zoom into it and not show up for it. He wanted to show up, but they kept on reminding him, we'll have to arrest you if you do. So don't show up. And he was like, no, I'm showing up. But then he started to wake up to the reality. So let's put up the South African Rand here. Oh, let's put it up on J4X too. Let's show you the King Brick. Let's see, where's it at? King Brick. Right there. And there's the weekly, still cruising down even with it trying to turn up. And on the daily, you can see that strength there. I'm not sure where the slow has disappeared to, but whoop. If we make it larger, maybe it'll be in there. There it is. Now, what is the malfunction there? Why did it stop there? Well, I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. There we go. And then from there, we slide over to the South African Rand, which will instead will put up gold. Because we watched two commodities with the currencies. We watched gold with the South African Rand. You can see the last couple of days it's trying to move down. You can see the blue down below. And let's put on the South African Rand over here. I'm sorry, that's gold. You see that downwardly action, and we expect to see on the South African Rand, it should be doing the same exact thing, gaining against the dollar by going down, 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 down. And there it is right there, ZAR. You see, it was up on Friday. It's down today, showing the pressure. Had been in a sell, it went into a buy right here. But you can't take it, of course, because why, traders? We're on a weekly sell. And now, let's go throw that line in there like that. And then let's put in the sell line. If it closes down below this today, we'll be back into a sell again. And that would be that'd be interesting. We think that the South African Rand should be down in the 14s. So it's trading in the 17s. It's all been politics that have really hurt it lately, the last 7-8 months. You know, the president seems to stockpile lots of American cash in his office, and that's kind of like a no-no. So it does give some problems there. So now from, where do we go from there? So from the South African Rand, we slide over to the Canadian. Oh, let's just show you how gold looks on this too at the same time. There's gold. And gold is lifting up a little bit, which is logical that the South African Rand should be heading down. There we are. All right, now, oh, and look at that. The weekly is zipped. It went into a weekly buy last week, and look at this thing. It is ripping through the manifold. They're really very strong. So maybe gold's got more run to go on the upside. And South African Rand will have more run on the downside. Right there. We should start to see this thing break down again. It seems to have plateaued there before. Maybe it'll go challenge the low 17s, the high 1680s or something like that. Now from there we slide over to Canada. There's the dollar CAD. And from the dollar CAD we go to oil. Let's put oil up on J4X. And there is light Swede. And you can see it's gaining. It's up for the day. And Canada is going down, which it should do. But it's still not in the sell. It climbed into a weekly buy last week, and now it is flirting with the weekly sell again. It's below the zero line. So, again, this is that time of the year where it's sloppy and, lacking in direction, and there's not much continuity, and you don't get involved in essence. That's what it comes down to. All right. What are we doing here? Let's see what else. All right. Now from there, what can we go from here? Let me just double check something here. Speaker gallery. All right. Let's see if we can get this fixed. Chat participants. I'm having a start video. Let's see. Not seeing my Zoom, so I got to straighten that out too. So we'll go do that. Leave meeting, end meeting for all. Leaving can't. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see if this does it. Let's see. All right, there you go. I'm done doing that for the moment. Let's go back to. Let's go back to this. All right, now, so crude oil is lifting up, and what we're seeing here is the Canadian trying to go down. So that's where we're at the end of this. Is pretty much the end of the looks at the currencies. If anybody has a desire to see anything in particular, and you know what I want to do? I want to look at where's it at? Right there. There's the hourly, and it jumped into a buy, and now it's showing weakness here. Again, why we usually don't pay attention to hourlies or minutes things, but we'll see if this turns around over the next hour or two and starts to lift again. But there's your hourly. All right, now from there, let's check out the stock market. Let's see what the stock market. Let's minimize that. There we go. You see the stock market's up relatively firm today. The S&P 500 is up. What is it? That's up almost 9 handles. So we're seeing some buying coming in on the stock markets. Now over here, let's put Brent, since we were just with oil. Let's put Brent up there. There's Brent, and you can see Brent is lifting up the last couple of days. You can see the blue line moving fast. And over here, we look at crude oil right there. And there's September oil doing the same thing in a daily buy for 4 days, and a weekly buy for 5 weeks. You know what's really cool? Check the back month, November. Right there. It's been in a weekly buy now for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 weeks it's been in a weekly buy. It's been a sloppy ride, but it knew what it wanted to do. It knew it. Let's see. All right. What else can we say? I guess that's about it. All right, from there we're going to jump over to where we're going to jump over to. Let's jump to the let's see what the premium is. That's what it is. Let's check out the premium between September which is at 77.74. And let's see where November is. Probably like 70.20 or something like that. 70.03. So 70.74. Wow. 71 cents now. They've picked up another 20 cents of premium. So obviously they want to take delivery of the front month. That's what's going on there. So let's do this. Let's close that. Leave meeting. Let's see. See if it does it. All right, we're having problems there with the connecting, but we'll get it going sooner or later. All right, now from there we go over to natural gas. Let's put natural gas up on J4X. Right there. And you can see it's been firm for the last 4 days. It's moving up nicely. Let's just see what the weekly looks like. I think it went into the weekly sell in our work last week. We'll put it up on the screen. Right there. Yeah, closing the weekly sell. See the pressure on it same way right here. Line is through, but there's still green here. We're waiting for the weekly to go red. But on the daily, I think it's in a daily buy. Yep. Same thing here. Been in a buy now for the last 5 days. All right, and then from there, we zip over to, what do we go to? Oh yes, we go to Spain, and we check out what the energy company is doing down in Spain, and then from there we'll go over to the metals. Right there. It's been in the 27s. Let's see where it's at today. 27.64, about another 15-20 cents up. You can see it's at the high end of the range, so that means that natural gas in Europe is pretty expensive compared to the United States at this point. And then from there we go over to the gold again. We'll go take a look at gold. We'll look at silver. And it's around here somewhere. Right there. There's silver. Let's see what silver looks like. See, silver is breaking down a little bit the last couple of days. Pushing down here. You can see on the lines. This is the daily. And then over here, let's see. Close that. Yes. All right. And over here, you can see the silver right there. In a daily sell now for 3 days. But the weekly is not carrying. They don't want to sell it at the moment. So we're stuck in this neutral now from here since that last buy back in here in the $23 area. It's kind of stalled, and the weekly's been in very firm, and we're kind of like classic the way the metals complex has been. There's gold, same situation, up a little bit today in a weekly buy, and it's still climbing. And at the same time over here, right there, showing, it's interesting, it's showing a little weakness more in gold for the spot. We're in a sell for 3 days. It's in a sell for 2. It's joining, everything's joining in the right way. And we're getting a little volatility signal right here with a green and a red. From there, we jump over to copper right there. And there's copper right there. Is that copper? Yeah. You see it's been that daily sell from here, and it hasn't done much. And the weekly went into the weekly last week, and it's trying to bounce up. There's not a lot of passion, and like I said, this is the sloppy time of the year. And you can see right there we have a red from last week, or starting this week, that is. And that pressure is on. And you can see here they're trying to, they're not sure. First it was from here like 5-6 weeks ago, it threw it underneath. Every time it went into the green it failed, and then it started to do this and got plus. And we've been stuck in a weekly buy ourselves over here since back in here, and now we are back to it again almost. So copper is definitely not doing anything particular, but just showing constant over and over weakness. Now from there we go to the platinum. There's the platinum. You see it's 3 days in a sell. It closed. Oh, it did close in the weekly buy. Okay, finally got that in the weekly buy. There we go. So let's save that. All right. And platinum, we need that product to be in a weekly buy if we're going to trust the weekly buys of the other metals complexes. That's what the problem is there, is when platinum is not in a weekly buy, it makes it very hard to take any buying in the metals complex serious. We kind of steer clear of it. So in this case here now, we have silver. Just to show you again. There's silver in a weekly buy. We have gold in the closed in a weekly buy last week, and it's now joining in for a second week. And copper, well, it's just sloppy all over the place. It's in the sell. But platinum, since platinum is in a weekly buy from last week, it's well worth, trying not to sell the strength in this thing, but buy the weakness. That's the answer to that. All right, now what else do we look at here? We're kind of towards the end of the game here. Anybody have any questions? Or if not, we're coming down to the end. Let's just take a quick look through the stock market. You see here, the S&P 500 went into a sell on Friday, but we're in that weekly buy now for 20 weeks or something like that. All the way back to last week in March, we've been in a weekly buy. So it's hard to run away from that. The Tech 100, right there, same situation, even a week longer. It's been in that weekly buy now since, in this case here, it's went into the weekly buy at the second to last week of March. So it jumped in a week ahead of it. And that pressure's been on it ever since. They tried to dip it a little bit last week. They got the readjustment going on with the balancing. So that has a lot to, it's a buyer's strike, basically. They're not selling the bigs. They're calling them the Magnificent Seven now. They're not really selling them. They're just not buying them. And they're reaching out to the others that have gained. Like Microsoft in the index, I think, lost 2.5% or something like that. And Amazon lost like 2.5% or 3%, and Meta and so forth. They lost that type of thing, not 2 or 3 percentage points. So we showed that last week what they were going to be reduced to. So the adjustment is going on now as we speak. All right, traders, we are out of here. So this is Doc from North America. Thank you for the questions, and we will catch you all tomorrow, same time, same channel. And so we'll have to come up with a title and so forth. And happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends, and welcome home, Janos. So all you have to say is arrivederci.